So it's a straightforward question. Should this man have lost his job? Ordinarily, this would be one of those kind of sort of an and finally story. I mean, in the grander scale of things that are making global headlines, I doubt this one is going to be up there. They're not going to be making a panorama special, I don't think, on this. But it does actually feed, interestingly, into a couple of wider issues about our police service. In recent weeks, of course, the police have been under scrutiny like never before. There's been some pretty uncomfortable headlines, in some cases sickening and criminal headlines involving our police. We've heard stories of officers who committed all sorts of offences but still kept their job. Doing something wrong, even as a serving officer, doesn't mean you automatically walk the plank, which is why this story is rather interesting. So, if you haven't clocked this one already, here's what happened. A police officer has been sacked after taking 2 packs of Jaffa Cakes from a charity stall without paying the full price. This is 51-year-old PC, or former PC now, Chris Dwyer. He paid just 10p for the chocolate-covered treats, but claimed he'd paid the correct amount of £1 when he was challenged by a colleague. He then changed the story. He slightly embellished the story. When he was quizzed about it, said he couldn't quite remember what coins had been placed in the box. This was the charity tin at Halifax Police Station. And because the woman that had, or the people in charge of the tin, had put like a little float in the tin of about, I think they put 5 20p's in the tin. And he put 2 5p's in the tin. And I don't think anyone else had bought anything. So when they looked and they thought, hang on a second, it's only £1. There's only £1.10 in the tin. How's this working? And we've only sold the Jaffa Cakes to Chris over there. Chris, you dirty thief. Chris, it's a charity tin, man. Now, I reckon Chris probably put his hand in his pocket and probably thought, oh, what in the name of Robert Peel have I done with my wallet? I've got 2 5. I'll shove the 2 5p. I'll make it up next week. So that's what I'll do. And he took the Jaffa Cakes, paid 10p, should have paid £1. Not a good look. He lost his job. Straightforward question. Should this man have lost his job? 0344 499 1000. Let me, however, just give some context to what is going on in the police service. West Yorkshire Police said that, in fact, I'll come back to the West Yorkshire Police story in a second. However, the list of officers who have done something that is either a bit wrong or very wrong and retained their job is absolutely extraordinary. So in the case of Charity Boy, it should have been £1 and he put in 10p for his Jaffa Cakes. A spokesman said the cash tin was checked and it was found to contain the same denominations of coins in the cash tin, but with an extra 2 times 5p's. As I explained, PC Dwyer had spent 25 years in the Navy before joining West Yorkshire Police in 2017. He said an underpayment was a genuine mistake, but he was given instant dismissal on Thursday after a 4-day misconduct. 4 days to establish what had gone wrong with the Jaffa Cakes. 4 days. Could do that in about 4 minutes, couldn't you? Hang on. Did Chris put... Yeah, Chris, you dirty what? That's it, isn't it? It's that. How does it take 4 days? What's going on over there at West Yorkshire, Nick? So he spent 25 years in the Navy before joining the police. He said it was a genuine mistake, but he was given the instant dismissal. Detective Superintendent Mark Long of West Yorkshire Police Professional Standards Directorate said this officer's actions do not fit with the values of the organisation and he has been dishonest when challenged. I mean, it was a packet of Jaffa Cakes, not a gold bullion raid. This was hardly Brink's Mat, was it? Do we seriously remove a man's livelihood because he partially half-inched a packet of biscuits? I mean, I get it. I know he's a police officer, okay? They are held to different standards. But in the grander scale, this is a minor issue. We remove the man's career because of that. So this is the context that I was just referring to you. So a report just 4 days ago. You might not have seen this. Thank goodness for Talk Radio. We can bring you this stuff when it gets sort of tucked away in the headlines. 4 days ago, dozens of police officers in Scotland have been accused of sexual misconduct over the past 4 years, sexual misconduct, but none have been dismissed. Sexual misconduct, none have been dismissed. Elsewhere in the southeast, a police officer sent a picture of his penis to a former colleague, but was allowed to keep his job, despite being reported to the force. Wayne Couzens, famously, we understand, was already under the radar for being more than suspicious on more than one occasion. Despite this, he kept his job. Over there in Northern Ireland, over two-thirds of, listen to this, two-thirds of officers accused of domestic violence have kept their job. Let's go right for the bullseye here. Cressida Dick, who's presided over everything from the Stockwell shooting to multiple issues around the tragic killing of Sarah Everard, has kept her job. PC Dyer underpaid for his Jaffa Cakes and lost his job. Now, I'm struggling to square the circle here. There's a couple of further points you could add in. The shortage of police officers, the need for experienced officers, and also the need for context. So, what would you do? I don't know, dock the guy a month's money, 2 months' money, or something like that. I mean, I can see how it could be easy to put the wrong amount in. I could see how he might have been being a bit cheeky. I don't imagine he thought, not paying that for Jaffa Cakes, I'll just put 10p in pot. I don't think he was thinking that. Either way, it's a flipping Jaffa Cake, for goodness sake. It's not sexual misconduct. It's not domestic violence. It's not impropriety involving taking images of injured prisoners or dead prisoners. And there's none of that stuff. It's not even in that category. And I've got all these examples here of cops who've kept their job despite accusations and in some cases having a criminal record retained their job. Sometimes a cop might have done something wrong years ago. They keep their job or they still get the job. These things do happen. A conviction for whatever. So you do scratch your head on this anyway. But give it the context of this. Should this man lose his job? So when I told you at the beginning of this that it's not the biggest story in the world, it isn't the biggest story in the world, but it does sit within a bigger, very, very important story about trust in our police. How much trust you do have when you look at the amount of cops that have retained a position of authority as a serving officer despite having either allegations or convictions against them.